Watch how quickly the room changes once the accusation gets made.
You're a visitor. You're not even an American. You're a foreign national. You're here because we gave you a visa to be here temporarily, and now you're out there defending and supporting Hamas, a terrorist organization? You need to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not shocked because we know that the president oftentimes resorts to very bigoted, xenophobic, Islamophobic, racist rhetoric when he is trying to scapegoat and deflect from the actual failures that he has himself.
These Somalians have taken billions of dollars out of our country. They've taken billions and billions of dollars. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar. She should be thrown the hell out of our country.
It is important for us, one, to remind folks that we are Americans. We're not going anywhere, and we will continue to be in this country. And two, that Minnesotans are resilient, and we will continue to thrive.
What is the practical effect on the Somali community when the president says things like that?
I mean, it creates fear, and there is a possible danger that a lot of the people who follow the president have exhibited violence in many cases, especially in my case, whenever he has said something about me that is derogatory or says I'm a threat to the country. I've gotten death threats. There's so many people that have been incarcerated over the years that have been encouraged by the president's words. And so there is fear for Somalis, not just in Minnesota, but across the country.
Be fully aware here. If we're allowing you access to the United States of America, meaning that something absolutely crazily horrible happened within your country, and then we gave you refugee status here, the last thing we as Americans specifically want to hear or even deal with is the fact that you are now in support of a group of people who absolutely have utter disdain for us. So by default, when Marco Rubio says, if you are in support of these absolutely terrible people and we saved your life, then you should probably go back to your country. When I hear people say, go back to your country, it always kind of makes me feel terrible, right? Generally, it's like, But in this context here, yeah, absolutely. For someone to not like America and they're an American, it is not the same, okay, as a refugee coming into the United States of America, disliking America, being completely wrapped within her all of her glory, let's say this here. Because if America was terrible, you wouldn't have come, but you came because it was better than where you were from. If that makes any sense. That sounds super harsh. I know it does. But is it wrong?
Anyone with any common sense can see that. The president is personally benefiting from billions of dollars of deals, and he doesn't care at all about the people of Sudan who are experiencing famine and genocide. It's shocking to me that you can't admit that. It's clear that you seem more concerned about staying in Trump's good graces than sticking up for human rights and American values that you once were a champion for. With that, I'm going to yield the remainder of my time to Representative Olszewski.
Well, you make these claims about staying in good graces. You accuse people of being
Reclaiming my time,
corrupt.
Mr. Chairman.
I think no matter who was president, they would have to deal with the UAE. We have to. They're a member.
That's not my question. We can have a policy debate about how we should engage with the UAE.
You're
I
making
just
claims
visited
about
there a
corruption,
few
and I'm
weeks ago.
answering that any president in the United States, I don't care who the president is, would have to deal with UAE. They're a member of the Abraham Accords, number one. They've been incredibly cooperative on a bunch of other issues. We don't agree with them on 100%. We have concerns about some of the things they do, but this is called the balancing of foreign policy.
Secretary
It is in our
Rubio, I
national
don't
interest
disagree
to
with
have
you.
a good relationship with the UAE, despite the fact that there are things we do we don't like.
Like the way she overall structured that question, you kind of smelled where this was going here. Like if you have followed the absolute crisis that has been happening in the Sudan, it's wild. Egypt has taken a gigantic quantity of people. I think Saudi Arabia has also. Like a lot of the neighboring countries are just basically taking the entire population of the Sudan because these rival factions inside of the Sudan are just absolutely annihilating the people to become the ruler of the country of no people because they're annihilating everyone. It is wild, okay? Yes, in fact, Dubai, the UAE, they are definitely in support of basically one of the groups that are doing this here. That is a factual statement here. But the fact that she's trying to correlate it to Trump, a little bit weird. And Marco Rubio is right here, 100% here. No matter what happens here, you're going to have to deal with that region because that region is just a hotbed of issues consistently and people, Sunni and Shia, who just do not kind of get along kind of large scale because their ideologies are similar, but they have a slight mismatch.
This is a president who has openly violated the very value our country aspires to uphold: equality under the law, religious liberty, equal protection, and protection from persecution. And to distract from that, he's launching a blatantly racist attack on 4 duly elected members of the United States of House of Representatives, all of whom are women of color. This is the agenda of white nationalists. Whether it is happening in chat rooms or it's happening on national TV, and now it's reached the White House garden. He would love nothing more than to divide our country based on race, religion, gender, orientation, or immigration status. Because this is the only way he knows he can prevent the solidarity of us working together across all of our differences. The only way to prevent us confronting the problems our country is facing, whether it is healthcare, climate change, student debt, or our endless wars. This is his plan to pit us against one another.
Like, guys, you know how easy it would be to basically decide one day, you know what, listen, I'm no longer going to live in the realm of like literal victimhood. I'm going to stand up on my own, basically, right? And make decisions for my family and those around me that are going to be conducive for our future, rather than consistently make excuses, okay? Listen, if someone doesn't like you, who cares? It seems like everything that she says and everything that she represents basically is almost always, woe is me, the color of my skin is holding me down, even though she is in power, right? In the racist country known as America, in her words, in her eyes, in her words, and her cohorts. The woman standing beside her is also basically the same person. The 4 women that she mentioned are all basically women of color in power in an allegedly racist country. What are you talking about? You're just talking. Like, this is nothing more than virtue signaling, and this is kind of why, like, this whole thing gets lost on me, because it's like, why are you talking? Right? Like, shouldn't you find someone else that is going through all of these things mentally? Right? How about we stress test that specifically, immediately? Find someone who shares an ideology, like a toxic ideology that proliferates large scale in inner city ghettos or old steel towns in the Northeast, right? Impoverished steel towns in the Northeast where their population is starting to decline because as kids are coming to the age of adulthood, they're running from it because there's nothing to do there. And I'm talking about the people who stayed in those towns that are, let's say, white Americans, right? Or either white Americans in, like, you know, trailer park type of areas here, or even like any type of Hispanics in any type of ghettos, or black Americans in any type of ghettos, or white Americans in any type of ghettos. Understand this here. Let's stress test this, okay? Disregard all of the skin tone and be fully aware that a lot of how people decide to treat you is based off of your level of class, right? Like how you handle yourself, your culture, right? Not so much your skin tone. How about you do not act like, you know, people that we don't want to be around. Like, he just looks at people that are from some of these areas like, I don't really want to specifically, purposefully be around people that embody a certain type of culture in the United States of America. And it's crazy because we can have the conversation, but there's a whole lot of people that are going to be super disingenuous, right? Guys, there are certain parts of every single city you will never want to walk around at any time. It's nighttime, forget it. Daytime, forget it. We're talking about those people, the people who live in that area you don't want to go by, right? If you're talking about some of those people specifically are not getting the opportunities, it's really hard, okay? It's really hard because you see how they act and how they deliver opinions, let's say, or their standpoint in life, and you're just like, I don't really want to be around whatever that is, and that's regardless of skin tone anywhere. Because again, you can go to some places that are majority white American, okay, and you're just like, I don't really want to go over there. What is over there for me? Needles? Do you understand what, guys? Do you understand what hopefully you understand what I'm saying here, because sometimes people yell at me in the comments because they don't get what I'm saying here. I really hope seriously you get what I'm saying. There are certain parts of your town, or your city, or your state, where you're just like, whatever that is over there, I don't want nothing to do with it, okay? I don't want nothing to do with it. It's not racism in America, it is almost purely going to be classism and culturism. There's a specific culture that occasionally, you know, is associated to like class levels, right, that no one wants to be around, okay? There's no motion, there's no upward mobility, and listen how Trump speaks. He only cares about upward mobility. You're confused here, but you're just attributing, they're just attributing it to skin tone. That is the most basically silly thing you can probably attribute it to, because again, I can name many a black American who who would also never go to the areas, you know. You understand what I'm saying here? What am I talking about, guys? Hopefully you understand what I mean here, bro. All right? But the way the left right now uses racism is just wild. It's weird. It almost never makes any sense. You're just trying to look for a cop-out instead of trying to fix a toxic culture, okay? A toxic culture. You're going to blame it and say everyone is racist because they don't want to be in that area at any time of the day. I don't want to be. Listen, what are you talking about? All right? But of course, I